Some of you may remember this little thing here. This is a Nextech Moonlight radio. I discovered a little bit of a disaster happened to this. It has 3 batteries, and it had 3 Energizer batteries in it that were all about the same age. 2 of them leaked. It's the first time I've ever seen any leaky Energizer batteries, but I went ahead and replaced those. They didn't leak all over the terminals and destroy them. So I went ahead and replaced the ones that were bad. Probably should have replaced them all, but I don't have any brand new AA's sitting around. And now, see, it works nicely. It is a little dim. I think it probably would be a little better if I did replace the batteries.
Hi, it's Keith Peanut. CA in Carl, please. Jim, it's Christmas and General Motors sent us presents.
So I probably should replace the batteries in that, but that is not the reason why I'm making this video, of course. No, this is the reason why I'm making the video. This is a Dell Latitude D630 that was given to me by Ross a couple days ago, actually. As of the making of this video, it was a couple days ago. By the time you're watching it, it will have been a couple months ago. But, wow, excuse me. I'm familiar with the Lenovo business-grade laptops. This would have been roughly the competitor to the Lenovo ThinkPad T61. It uses the same general architecture. I believe that this one has a T7100 CPU, which is what my T61 came with when I got it. Of course, my T61's been upgraded to a T7700. But here it is. It's a widescreen machine with the Dell logo there. Fairly interesting card of ports. We got Ethernet modem, 2 USB ports, a serial port, VGA, power. There's a vent right there. On this side, you get your Kensington lock, audio, 1394. This is a lock for, I'm not sure if this is a smart card or, oh no, that's for the wireless. I'm sorry. So there's your little wireless switch. And of course there's a PCMCIA slot here, and I believe this one's actually got a blank in it. Go ahead and pull that out. Yeah, it's got a blank in it. So we'll put that back. Or we'll do it properly. Maybe we will. There, that's better. Anyway, on this side, you get 2 more USB ports and the DVD player, which is actually a removable item. This is the, this is how Dell's, Lenovo calls this the Ultra Bay. This is how Dell's Ultra Bay worked. Pretty straightforward. Actually, I'd call that a little bit better of a design than what IBM Lenovo managed. With the latch on the bottom of the machine, it's very easy to remove that without even moving the machine. But I find it very odd that this thing has a serial port and no parallel port. Usually it was the other way around. Nevertheless, it's in very good condition. Open it up here. See, the keyboard is in very good shape. Trackpad's in very good shape. We get Core 2 Duo, so it looks like this thing was not equipped with the Intel wireless solution when it was new. Designed for Microsoft Windows XP, of course. I wonder what kind of COA it's got on the bottom. I'm assuming professional. Yes. Tells us exactly what it was. Latitude D630, Core 2 Duo, 1.8 gigahertz. And we'll go ahead and switch over here. Anatel. There's a service tag and all that other stuff. There. This is a PP18L. Broadcom. So this has the Broadcom wireless, which I'm not really thrilled with. Here's the battery. It does hold a charge there. Strike zone. That's kind of interesting. But, yeah, it's got Broadcom wireless, which I'm not the most thrilled with, because the Broadcom tends to be a little bit more finicky, especially under Linux. And that's my plan for this. My plan is to put Linux on it. It's running Windows 10 right now, but I'm not going to start it up into Windows 10. I'm just going to go ahead and install Linux. Perhaps even in this video. I'll have to plug it in. I know that the battery is not necessarily in the best health, although it does work. So we're going to power it up. F2 to get the system set up. BIOS revision A03, and I know he gets a kick out of it every time I say it, but I'm going to check for an updated BIOS on this thing. Here's a CPU, 1.8. It doesn't actually tell us. It tells us the ID, but it doesn't tell us that it's a T71. What is it, T7100? Yes, I think it's a T7100. 4 gigs of RAM. Crestline graphics. Wi-Fi device, Dell Wireless. It's got a 500 gigabyte hard drive installed in it. There's the battery. It tells us here this battery can no longer provide sufficient power to your system and needs to be replaced. Date and time is set correctly. Everything there. It does have an option for a parallel port, but it says parallel port on the docking station, so I think everything else is pretty well straightforward. So I'm going to go get my Linux disk, and we're going to go see what we're going to install on this. Before I do that, without showing too much of this, we see the upgrade is for A19 and we are running A03, so there's quite the upgrade. It tells us it's supported, so we are going to replace it. Confirm. Pressing OK will close all applications, shut down, flash the BIOS, and then reboot. Now I'm going to make sure that I'm plugged in. And I am, although you can't see it because this camcorder will not adjust for whatever reason. Plugged in, so we should be good to go. So I'm going to click on OK. Well, we get an error code. I'm going to have to look that up. Well, that was odd. You just saw an error out there, but reboot the system and it updated, so okay. Saves me a little bit of trouble. But it now means I don't have any use for Windows, so I can exit setup. Reboot. There we go. Apparently I had to force the issue. So I want to start. It's a different kind of boot menu than I'm used to seeing. Even though my boot order in the BIOS was set up to boot to the CD-ROM first, apparently I wanted to boot off the hard drive first. This camcorder is not particularly appreciative of the focus, or not particularly appreciative of what it's looking at and can't focus on it. I'll give this a few minutes to try and boot up. Well, I was prepared to tell you that it locked up, but it looks like it didn't. It's actually starting to do something now. Figures as soon as I bring the camera out, I can move the mouse. That's very, not easy to use. The track point. It is, of course, very slow off the DVD. So maybe I'll give it a few more minutes and wait for the desktop to come up. Okay, it's now gone ahead and booted. This is Fedora Linux, but it is Fedora with the LXQT desktop. Since I have a whole bunch of machines laying around, I'm going to use this and one other machine that I picked up, just sitting right over there, which we'll see in a future video. I'm going to use them as test boxes. It's been a long time since I've used Fedora, so we're going to see how well this works. I'm going to connect it to my network first, because it looks like the wireless is actually working, even though I know that Broadcom devices have problems under Linux. We'll have to see whether or not that lasts when I boot back into the operating system. Okay, we are connected to the network now, so I can go ahead and install, it says execute file. The file, I wonder why it's asking me. It should just work. Of course I want to execute it. So we'll see if it actually does work. Alright. So we will go ahead here. Select all these options. This is the installer now. Keyboard, getting list of layouts. The time of date is wrong. Everything there otherwise should be fine. Wireless host name. Give me just a minute. This thing is obviously not smart enough to figure partitions out on its own. Oh, just gave me the partition. No, delete everything. Reclaim space. That's not a very well set up installer. Begin install. And I'll probably find something else that doesn't work correctly. Okay, I've got all that set. We are installing software, 52%. It's not verbose or anything, so we can't actually see any information. Unlike typical modern software, it looks like we got advertisements at the bottom. At least it's not for random other software products or anything like that. Taking a look at this, if it'll ever actually open. You can have a look at the LXQT information, see what that brings up. Because that's what this is. This is the LXQT desktop, which is apparently what Ubuntu Linux is based on these days. I know they were trying to get this to work for several releases. And it's still very much beta software. We'll see how well it works. There's the battery. I'm guessing that's for the USB sound. So I wonder if that actually works on this thing. Because I want to find out. Maybe I'll test that here in a few minutes once it's fully installed. Well, we're definitely getting closer to being done here. It's got a 500 gigabyte drive in it, a Hitachi 5400 RPM drive. So, not anything particularly fancy, and 500 gigs would kind of be a waste in this thing, so I'm probably eventually going to pull that out, probably when I get tired of Fedora with the LXQT desktop, or when it breaks, like it inevitably probably will do. I'll probably I've got a 320 sitting up on the shelf, and I think I got a couple other drives sitting up on the shelf. I don't know how good any of them are, but I don't have a stash of spare drives. Unless they're IDE ones. So, well, it says 100%. Wonder if that means 100% or if that means 10%. It's definitely not done. You can see there. So I'll just give it some more time, I guess. Complete, it says. Go ahead and reboot to start using it. So we hit quit. Usually it reboots on its own, but I guess we gotta reboot manually. So, leave, reboot. See if it prompts us or if it just reboots. Do you want to really restart your computer? I think you got a couple of words mixed up there. Do we want to restart it? Do we want to really restart it? I think we want to really restart it. Take it back to the original BIOS release, too. Well, anyway. Enough playing around here. This thing is doing its little jig where it doesn't adjust the exposure properly. I'll be back in just a second. I have to wonder where this message is actually coming from. Oh, what a piece of junk. Figured out where it was coming from. So, here we go with our boot menu. Let's see how well this starts up from disk. I think there's supposed to be a splash screen, but I never do actually see it. Well, that took impressively long to bring that up. Hope I'm going to be able to set that up to auto login, because I really hate having to do all this. Although I might not. I might actually have designs on using this as an actual useful machine, and I'd like to have it protected with a password. Well, you know, it's unfortunate, but it does not look like it's any faster running from the hard drive than it was off the DVD. It's quite sad. Oh, and I also tried to load YouTube on the built-in browser, which I think is called, like, Falcon or something. You see it right there. And it crashed, so looks like I'm going to have to load another browser on this thing, if I could figure out how to actually do that. I would have thought that it would have had a package manager, but I guess it does not, so whatever. I'll experiment with it a little bit, but I'll probably end up putting a different Linux distribution on this, because it seems like this one needs a lot more polish. But anyway, that's it for this video, so thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off, and I hope to see you next time. Looks like the camera is doing its little strange thing again. But that's okay, because the video's over. Till then. Wow, that's terrible.